Today, we're going head to head. Z1 and Pride Auto. Which one works and which one doesn't? Today, we're gonna find out. All right, so we're in the Q50 and I have version 1 with the sleeve insert. About the diff brace is that there's no NVH. I never felt a difference, never heard a difference. The only time you can feel the difference really is when you take off. So I had wheel hop before at the drag strip. The moment I put the diff brace, it was non-existent. Never happened again. And we've altered the tune a few times as well, so I've had some wheel spin after upping the launch control a little bit and never had any wheel hop. Now it's not gonna be 100% solid because there's only so much that those braces can hold. Let's go back to the garage and install version 2 and see if there's a difference and compare that with the Z1 Motorsports. All right, so now we have Pride Auto's version 2. Now bear in mind that winding that I have is most likely my pinion bearing. Too many hard digs with the car. Something's gonna give. All right, let's go ahead and put it through the paces. So we have the Z1 diff brace installed and we're gonna go ahead and put it to the test. See what happens from a dig. I'm actually getting wheel hop now. All right, so far I don't really feel a difference between the Pride and the Z1. They both don't have any added NVH, and I couldn't tell you if it feels any stiffer, but it possibly, maybe there's something there. There's probably less slop, but I'm not entirely sure. It's not like the transmission mount that you felt the difference. All right, so I'm gonna go back into the studio and analyze the videos, put it together and see what we get. All right, so what do we know so far? We know that Pride's first iteration of his diff brace didn't work so well just because it didn't have the sleeve. So now he came out with the version 2, which has the sleeve already integrated into the brace. Now we have Z1's diff brace, which is a very beautiful piece, and it's made up of just one solid steel piece of metal, which in their argument, it states that it's less prone to cracking in welds and joints. Now, if you know anything about welding, if you weld properly, the weld itself is going to be a lot stronger than the actual bonded material. So I don't see how that argument can play out against Pride's diff brace. But I would say definitely hands down Z1's diff brace does look more appealing. And now in terms of the mounting locations, they both utilize the same 3 holes on the diff. In terms of the subframe, Z1 uses 2 completely different mounting locations. Now Pride uses 1 mounting location and now utilizes this sleeve on the version 2, which is integrated into the diff brace itself. And as you can tell, it has a flange which helps support the brace on there even more. These 2 pieces here are going to completely eliminate that pivot motion that was previously a concern with version 1. Now with that being said, these diff braces only support some diff movement. They're not going to completely eliminate it. The version 2 of Pride's diff brace does feel a little heavier than version 1. Now, I don't have a scale to measure, and my calipers, I left them in Minnesota, so I can't tell you exactly how much more this weighs and how much thicker it is, but I can tell you just by feeling, and it does feel heavier. Now, Z1's diff brace is a lot heavier, nearly almost twice as heavy as this diff brace here. All these kits will come with hardware. Version 1 comes with a bolt, a washer, a nut, and a sleeve. And if you previously have a version 1 and you just want a sleeve, you can contact them and they will send you just the sleeve itself. Version 2 already has a sleeve integrated into the diff brace, and as you can tell, it has a flange as well. So the hardware that comes with version 2 is just a bolt, a washer, and a nut. Now with Z1's diff brace, it does come with 3 long bolts, much longer than the OEM ones, because the Z1 diff brace is a little thicker here, so they do require 3 replacement bolts that go into the diff itself. Now in terms of installation, the Z1 diff brace was more difficult to install and more time consuming, because you have to remove 2 other bolts that were part of a support brace on the car, which go onto here and to here. And because the holes here are a much smaller tolerance, there was barely any wiggle room, so you had to drive in every single bolt little by little. But even doing so, the bolts that go through here were a pain in the butt, and they still got stripped, even though I was being very careful and making sure to drive in all the fasteners little by little. Now in terms of fitting, this diff brace is easier, mainly just because it has one mounting location here, and then these holes here have a much larger tolerances. Overall, both are achievable in a relatively short time. It's just one is a little more difficult than the other. In terms of strength, I believe both diff braces are very strong. I didn't get so much time with this diff brace, but I did jack up the car maybe 4 times with this diff brace. Now, in terms of the Pride diff brace, you guys know I've been using this diff brace for months, possibly maybe over a year, and I have hundreds of drag passes with the diff brace. And the drag, it's prepped, so I put my car through a lot of abuse when I take it to the track, and I have yet to see any cracks or any deformations of the diff brace. And I have jacked up the car many times with the diff brace, and I don't see any damage at all. But overall, I believe both diff braces are strong and will hold up throughout the life of your vehicle. So based on the data that I collected, none of these diff braces perform any better or any worse than each other. They honestly do the same thing. Just one costs more, one looks better, one looks least attractive. At the end of the day, it's really up to you on what you want to pay. The only thing that will completely eliminate all movement from your diff would be to replace it with a solid diff bushing kit. Now, when you replace any rubber bushings with solid bushings, there will be an increase of NVH, which is expected to come from solid diff bushing kits. But again, there's a trade-off. If you want performance, you will trade off some comfort. If you want to retain comfort, then you'll want to get a poly bushing kit, which, by the way, they're going to be releasing a poly kit very soon. So that's going to be awesome. So let's talk costs. How much are these parts? You have version 1 of Pride's diff brace, which is I believe $100 right now. That's like really cheap. That's gonna come with the sleeve. And then version 2, I believe, is only $5 or $10 more. Then you have Z1's diff brace, which is $200. The diff bushing kits are $230. And quite honestly, you saw the footage, none of these diff braces perform any better or any worse than each other. Again, it's up to you what you want to spend your money. Personally, if I was to buy a product for over $200 to try and mitigate some diff movement, I would just pay $30 more and completely eliminate it with this thing. Initially, I was kind of expecting this to perform a lot better than this, but after putting both of these to its paces, there's literally no difference. The proof is in the pudding. Now I have some good news. I'm gonna be giving away all these diff braces and the bushing kit throughout some of my videos. So let's first start with version 1 of the diff brace. All you have to do to get entered is comment below the color Q that you have, like the video, subscribe, and I will be choosing a winner from the comment section. So stay tuned to the next following videos and keep it locked into my channel.